Jevon Holland, what a game for you guys defensively. Everybody was talking about this Bills offense, led the league in scoring. Josh Allen won 7 straight games here. What did you guys do to win today?
We bet on ourselves. That's what it comes down to. We believe in ourselves, we bet on ourselves, and we went out there and we played our ass off. That's what it is.
And I take you to that last drive. You guys are down here on the goal line. They're on the 2-yard line. It looks like a touchdown's inevitable. You guys make 4 down stops. Can you take me through what happened on that drive?
Back against the wall, all you can do is fight. All you can do is fight. That's all we did, man. Back against the wall, that's all we do is fight, man. Don't ever count us out. Ever. We always in a fight. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. That's what it is.
I'm going to show you 10 plays, 10 moments that show who the Miami Dolphins really are. There's an old saying that says it's not the size of the dog in the fight that matters, it's the size of the fight in the dog that really matters. While I absolutely loathe people who fight dogs, can't stand them, I absolutely love players who got that dog in them. There are 2 things, maybe a couple more, but there are really 2 things that you can't coach in football players. 1, you can't coach speed. You either have it or you don't. And number 2, you either have heart or you don't have heart. It's not going to be coached into you. We'll find out very quickly when you face adversity on the field if you really have heart. How important is heart? Well, in history, there have been entire wars fought by underdogs and won by underdogs who've had heart. And there have been plenty of incidences in football where the underdog willed themselves to victory. Sports journals can make any kind of excuses and say whatever they want about the Miami Dolphins beating the Buffalo Bills, but the one thing they won't tell you is the truth as to why the Miami Dolphins beat the Buffalo Bills. In this age of so-called toxic masculinity, the emasculated eunuchs on ESPN and some of these sports shows don't dare tell you what really happened on Sunday. You see, in today's wussified world, it's not politically correct to say that somebody got out-toughed on the field, outmanned on the field. However you might say it, the Miami Dolphins manned up, you can say they cowboyed up, or you can even say like Tyreek Hill said, they grabbed their cojones and they out-toughed the Buffalo Bills. Now let me just say this, I am not at all saying that the Miami Dolphins players are better men than the Buffalo Bills players. What I am saying is on that field, at that time, those men on the Miami Dolphins sidelines manned up, cowboyed up, grabbed some cojones, and were the best team on the field because of the heart beating in their chest. And don't buy the BS about the Buffalo Bills playing scrubs. I can tell you right now, there's not a man in the Buffalo Bills locker room who looks at his teammate as a scrub. Every single sports fan, every single sports journo who calls the players that played in that game scrubs and practice squad players are insulting the integrity of the player and the integrity of the game. Every single player was exposed to the sun and the 100+ degree weather here in South Florida. Every single player also experienced the effects of the sun and the heat on their minds and their muscles. But one team found a will to dig deep and win, and that was the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, it was warm. Breathing was tough at sometimes. You know, we had some really long drives.
It was hot. It was very hot. Guys were cramping. Guys were getting out each and every play. We were just trying to, catch a breath, catch a wind. You know what I'm saying?
It's really, believe it or not, coming from a colder climate, it's nothing you can't really simulate that. You can't plan for it. Like, it's hard out there. Like, it's hot, it's humid. Like, it's just tough. It's something you got to fight through.
Just feeling those cramps come up, you can't do much about it. I was chugging pickle juice, doing as much as I could on the sideline, but sometimes the best option is to come in and get another IV. So, I hated that I had to do that and miss a few plays, but it was what got me back on the field.
Like, guys were dropping. Guys were dropping like flies, even me. I had to come back and get an IV. You know what I'm saying? Throwing up at halftime, just trying to fight through.
It's just one of those, like, oh, crap things. Try to stay on top of it this whole week with hydration. Looking back at it, I don't know if there's anything I could have done differently. I can always say I could have done 3 IV bags before the game, but, I probably would have felt 300 pounds out there. So I don't think it's one specific thing.
There's one reason why I don't pay any attention to stats, and I've told you I will never be a stat junkie. I will never be a stat boy, because if you look at the stats of this game, it shouldn't have been close. If I had told you before the game that the Buffalo Bills would run 90 offensive plays and the Miami Dolphins would only run 39 offensive plays, who would you have said was going to win that game? If I had told you that the Buffalo Bills would hold the ball for 41 minutes and that the Miami Dolphins would only have the ball for 19 minutes, who would you have said was going to win that game? If I had told you before the game that the Miami Dolphins were going to have to punt 5 times, with one of them being a butt punt, and that the Buffalo Bills would only have to punt 1 time, who would you have said would win that game? If I had told you before the game that the Miami Dolphins would only get 15 first downs, but that the Buffalo Bills would get 30 first downs, who would you have told me was going to win that game? And finally, if I had told you before the game that the Miami Dolphins would only gain 212 yards of total offense, but that the Buffalo Bills would gain 500 yards of total offense, who would you have told me was going to win that game? Be honest, you would have said the Buffalo Bills would win hands down, and you would have been dead wrong. You want to know why? Because all of those aforementioned stats, none of them, not a single one, measures heart. And that's why the Miami Dolphins won that game. When you see things like this happening, you realize that this team, this Miami Dolphins team, ripped the beating heart out of the Buffalo Bills. So let's look at some of those plays and moments where you can see that the Miami Dolphins had the will, had the heart to win. After the play, with an obvious intent to injure him, he gets up wobbly, he collapses, and he leaves the game. Number 2, the secondary was tested 63 times by Josh Allen and didn't fold. Here's Brandon Jones with almost a pick 6. Number 3, Xavier Howard nearly gets a pick 6 on a trick play. Number 4, Jalen Phillips was denied a pick 6 with this miss. Number 5, Jevon Holland barely misses this pick off of Josh Allen. Number 6, the X-Man almost had this one in his grasp as well. Number 7, the so-called noodle-armed quarterback throws an absolute laser for a touchdown. Number 10, Tua Tagovailoa shows class and consoles his worthy opponent. Adversity has been met, and the heart of a winner prevails throughout the Miami Dolphins locker room.
They all said you couldn't, and you did.
Hey, quick turnaround, coach said it. Celebrate this win quick tonight. Our goals are bigger than just beating Bills. You know what I'm saying? We know where we want to go. This was just a step to where we want to go. That's how we compete. Let's go. Fans on 3. 1, 2, 3.
These two teams will meet again on December 18th in what will probably be a complete reversal of conditions. It's likely to be 0 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour wind with a wind chill of minus 15 or 20 degrees when they meet in Buffalo. Will the Dolphins win? I don't know. There's no way for me to tell, but what I can tell you is I know this team will show up with heart. Like an Ali Frazier rematch, I can't wait. Hey, this week the Dolphins have a short week. They're playing Thursday against the Cincinnati Bengals at 8:15. I go live at 8 o'clock. If you'd like to join me, go ahead and click this link right here. Get notified when I flip the switch and go live. Let's go. Short week. Guys are in pain. Fins up. They're going to win. They got the heart. Let me know what you think.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?